Hello, my friends. Here we are. It's day three. It's day three. I'm so excited. This one is a fun one. We're talking all about playing for profit. Let me make sure I'm in the right place. Actually, I'm going to invite some of you because I know some of you were not getting the notices. So here we are. I'm just going to send some invitations because I know some of you were saying you didn't see it. No worries, no worries. How's it going? How was your day? How are you feeling? Have you gone through day 1 and day 2? What came up for you as you went through day 1 and day 2? Let's see. This is so fun. I have loved this series. Let's see. Perfect. Okay, I'm not going to go through and invite every single person because I know a lot of you are catching the replay, but I do want to send some invitations because here we are. And I know if you don't have the notifications set, you can go ahead and set it in your settings. It will notify you whenever I go live. Okay, I want to jump right in. So here we are. It's day 3. We're all talking all about playing for profit, and I would love to first celebrate those of you that have private messaged me or messaged me here in the group to celebrate you doing the work and actually looking at this stuff, because here's what I know for sure. If we don't manage what's going on within our brain, within our 2 ears, it doesn't matter what's going on out in the world, right? So what that typically looks like is, if we're talking about money, what we're really talking about, if we really ask ourselves the question, what is it that we're looking for? It often comes down to a sense of security, right? A feeling of safety. That's the idea that if I have all this money in the bank, then I feel safe. Or some people feel like if I know that I have this coming in, then that makes me feel like I can live, right? Like it depends on what your metric is. But most of the time, people want financial freedom because it ultimately makes them feel safe, right? So the illusion of it is that when I get the money in my bank, then I will feel safe. When I make the sales, then I will feel safe. When I do the things that bring in the income, then I'll feel good enough, right? But the problem with that is it actually creates more of a feeling of fear, because what you're ultimately doing is making that safety conditional, right? So when I get there and then I feel the thing, that means you're always chasing the thing. So what we're really doing in this whole program, in this whole 3-day free training, what we're really looking at is how to create that experience within yourself first, and how to trust your heart and trust yourself first, so that you can do that over and over and over again. And it doesn't matter what your bank account says, and your bank account has nothing to do with your self-worth, and your ability to serve people and help people and make an impact with people has nothing to do with what stories you have in your head about money, right? Because we're going to clean all of that stuff up. But the place we first have to look at is, there is one thing that will keep you from the money that you desire. If you're here with me live, say hello. Hey Laura, if you're catching the replay, make sure you hashtag replay so I can come back and love on you too. But the number one thing that will keep you in a poverty mindset, in a scarcity mindset, in the feeling of not enough, in the feeling of chasing money, what is the number one thing? What do you think the number one thing is? If you're here on the replay, still engage as if this were live, because I'll be able to come back and support you. So what do you think the number one thing is that is keeping you apart from the money that you desire? Any guesses? Sometimes people tell me they don't have enough clients, they don't have enough visibility, they don't have enough of a, pool of people to work with, or they don't have enough offers, or they don't have enough courage to make the offers. Fear of not having enough, that's part of it. But what it ultimately comes back to is your mindset. your believability, not having enough money. Sure, yeah, that's part of it. But what it really is what do you believe is possible? What do you believe about money? So one of the number one myths that I am constantly reminding people of, even though we think we know it, sometimes it sneaks in, is there is not this finite pie. It doesn't mean if you get some that somebody else gets less, right? It doesn't mean that we are all dividing up this one resource and then once it's gone, it's gone. It's unlimited. And sometimes, again, you know I love to work in metaphors. And sometimes if we think about it in the sense of wellness, it's easier for our brains to get. So here's what I mean by that. If you're well, you don't walk around saying, I have enough wellness, I should give it to somebody else. I've had my fill, it's good. I'm just going to let somebody else have some wellness now. No, there's enough for everybody, right? Unique journey. That's it, right? So we talked a little bit about how your net worth has nothing to do with your self-worth. This is a huge distinction. So many of us, let me know in the comments. Put a one in the comments if this has ever happened to you. And the reason I ask you guys to do that is so I have feedback on what I'm talking about and to see if it's relevant for you, if you want me to keep talking about those things. It's really helpful for me to know if this is serving you. That's really my intention, right? So leave me a one if this has ever happened to you, where you make sales, you have money come in, your partner gets a bonus, there's some influx of money, and you feel great. And you're like, I'm out of the world. I feel good, right? Nothing to worry about. And then you look at your bank account a few weeks later and it's not that high. It wasn't where you wanted it to be. You start to go into all this self-doubt and like, what happened? And should I have bought that? And should we have done that trip or whatever, right? So tell me if this happens. As soon as you see the number in your bank account at the bar where you don't feel good anymore, do you start second guessing yourself? Because what I've seen over and over and over, myself included, this is something I've had to do a lot of work on, that my bank account has nothing to do with my self-worth. Nothing. It may be a messaging problem. It may be a marketing problem. Laura, thank you so much for your bravery and your courage to say that, because I would put like a million ones in this right now. And it's an ongoing practice, right? So it has nothing to do with your value as a business owner. It could be a million reasons why things didn't sell. There weren't, the messaging was off. People didn't resonate with it, or your energy wasn't very clean, or your mindset needed some tweaking and readjusting and recalibrating, right? So there are a million reasons, but as soon as you start making it mean you're not meant for this, you're not good at this, you don't know what you're doing, then you cut yourself off from all that abundance. Does that make sense? So when we talk about playing for profit, one of the things that we have to rewire right away is this belief that I shouldn't charge for something that I love. I shouldn't charge a lot of money, whatever a lot is, right? That's subjective. I shouldn't charge a lot of money for something that I enjoy doing. That's my passion, that I'm a healer, I'm a helper, I'm somebody that is meant to do this work in the world. I can't charge for that. Whether you're an artist or a writer or a graphic designer or a musician, doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're a coach or healer, a helper, doesn't matter. This story can come up because we think we're putting good into the world. How could I possibly charge for that? But here's what you have to know. It's an energetic exchange, first and foremost. And second of all, you can't do your work in the world if you are stressed about money and paying your bills. It just doesn't work. You literally, we talked about this yesterday, you literally cut off the creativity in your brain to do your best work when you are in a state of low-grade anxiety, low-grade worry, low-grade concern, right? So a lot of times us good, purpose-driven, impact-driven, wholehearted, heart-centered humans get really twisted about pricing our work because we feel like well, I shouldn't really charge a lot of money. And why should I make money off of this? And what if people don't want to pay this because it's something that they need, right? So I just give it away for free. Well, here's the thing. If you give and give and give and give and give and give, you have nothing left to give, right? That's not what you came here to do. You came here to make a difference in the world using whatever gifts and skill sets that are unique to you. But if you continuously give that, right? If you've ever read the children's book, The Giving Tree, we got to do some recorrecting on that, right? You cannot give endlessly without any sort of replenishment. And we live in a world where money is needed for that. So it's okay to charge for your work. And I would assert it's actually the most transformational thing for people to stand up and take an action by betting on themselves and investing in themselves with you, right? We're not in a business of scamming people, of manipulating people, of telling people they need this, and if they don't have this, they're going to fail at life. That's not the kind of business we're in. If you're in this community, you're not in that kind of business, right? Doesn't matter what you're doing. I know you. I know your heart. If you're here, if you resonate with me, you're not in that kind of business, right? But we have to recognize the value that we're giving the people in our world, our clients, our community, our network, whatever it is. Because money follows value. That's as simple as it is. Money follows value. So what value are you providing? What transformation are you providing? What experience are you providing that ultimately upgrades somebody else's life, whether it's enjoying a piece of art or photography, or you're healing them in some way, or you're shifting their beliefs, whatever it is, you're upgrading their life, right? So there's power when people say, I'm going to raise my hand and make that investment with you. So pricing can be really triggering to a lot of people, but I promise you, when you actually get clear on what you're doing, you'll recognize that it's not even about you, right? That's the ego's trick. It wants you to think that it's all about you and money's about you and this is about your personal experience with it. It's not. When you make more money, you can do bigger things in the world. You can make more of an impact. You can donate to things that are worthy of your energy and your currency, right? So I really want you to start asking yourself, like, if you don't nourish yourself, right? The analogy everybody knows is putting your own oxygen mask on first. But if you don't nourish yourself first, you have nothing left to give your people. So it doesn't serve anybody if you're not charging what you need to charge, what you desire to charge to get the result for these other people, to give them the opportunity to get this result, right? So can you see how it doesn't make sense when we say we don't want to charge for our gifts? We don't want to charge for our work. That doesn't make sense, because that means that we're going to be out of business, right? And so when I say playing for profit, I'm really talking about why it's essential to have a system where you actually know your numbers. Now, for me in photography, one of the craziest things was when one of my mentors had me sit down and calculate all of my expenses. Now, I didn't have incredible, amazing money guidance in my life, so I had to do a lot of work to figure it out on my own as I got older and started my business and started my family. So she said, I want you to tell me what it actually costs you to have your doors open for business. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. So we sat down and went through a whole process, and it's a process that I've adapted for my own clients. And we figure out, what does it actually cost you to just have your doors open? And this practice alone was a game changer. And here's why. Because I could no longer feel like I really only had to charge people $50. It was fine. I like it. Because I knew from numbers that are non-emotional, they're just feedback, what I actually had to be doing unless I wanted to lose money. So unless I wanted to open the window and just throw money outside, I had a metric. Now, believe me when I tell you, I was terrified to look at numbers. I was terrified to look at numbers. They had always been a source of anxiety for me. I didn't understand them. There was so much shame and guilt and all this stuff wrapped up in numbers. I had credit card debt from college. I never had enough. I was always struggling. I drove home from North Carolina when I went there for college with literally $40 in my bank account. And I was like, I don't think this is normal. I don't think this is right. Which is why I feel so qualified to do this work with you, because it is by far the place that I've done the most work on myself, right? Hi, Ruth. So here's what I want you to know. By doing your work in the world, you are helping other people. When you don't get compensated for that on an energetic match on the value of what you're providing, whether you're doing a good service, product, 9 to 5, it doesn't matter. Your energy exchange for what you're offering the people that need you, there is a number that matches that. And you have to know what it actually costs you to be in business. You just do, right? But here's why most of us creatives don't look at that, because we don't know what we're doing. We don't even know where to start. We think that it's like this badge of honor to be a starving artist, right? Real artists don't actually starve. If you've ever read the book, Real Artists Don't Starve, it's amazing. You should absolutely read it. But if you haven't, in it, Jeff is the author. He talks about how Michelangelo, who painted the Sistine Chapel and all these other things, and we thought he was like, this scrimping by artist, and he was, doing all this work and struggling, and he was a starving artist, but like his work is worth it. He was a multi-millionaire. Yup. They went back through all these records, and Michelangelo was commissioned for different parts of paintings and work that he was hired for, and he had teams of people that he was paying to help him. So this whole idea of a starving artist was actually a myth, which has been just widely adopted by people that are heart-centered and creative and passionate, which is bananas because it has created a lens of the world, which is not helpful at all for any of us, right? But it was created from a man in Paris. This is all in that book. You can read about it. A man in Paris where his father and his mother worked really hard. I think his mother cleaned or something, and his dad was maybe a janitor, and he really wanted to be a writer or a painter, and it just never worked out. And so he started writing all these short stories as like this is a badge of struggle. Which ultimately, he's the guy that wrote Rent and Moulin Rouge and all these stories and sort of glorified being a struggling artist because that was his identity. And that's what happens. Our brain has to match our beliefs, right? So if our brain matches our beliefs, well, that means we have to come up with stories that resonate with that. And that's what he did. Now, all of the money from all of his stories didn't come until after his death, but he left a myth in this world that is still like a virus. There is no honor in struggling for your work. The more you struggle, the less people you get to impact. That's the truth of it. So why not actually make a good living and know that the good you're putting out in the world is coming back to you because of that decision, right? So it's not a bad thing to make money doing the work that you love. You need to be able to make the money you desire in order for you to be in full alignment with it. Can you see how it's a backwards game to ignore your money? If you ignore your money, you don't get to help people. That's the bottom line. I don't think that's the truth for you. It's not the truth for me, right? So we have been conditioned for years that wealthy people are bad. And so this rewiring has to take place, especially with us heart-centered people, because we get that message from everywhere. We get that message from movies, from TV, from magazines, from books, from, A Christmas Carol, right? Scrooge. Everybody with money is bad. If you have money, you're bad. But what I'm really passionate about is helping people understand the more money you make, the more impact you can have. The more money you make, the more you can help, the more you can donate, the more you can hire people, the more you can serve, right? The more you can have good relationships with the people in your life, with your partner, with your kids, the more memories you can create. Like, this is why making money is so important, because it really does give you that freedom you're seeking. It really does give you that sense of security that you want. It's not out there. It's not out there. It's within you. And the good news is it's a feeling, which means we can feel it first. We don't have to have the physical evidence. And that's a backwards game. As soon as you say you're waiting for the money to be in your bank account to feel safe, you've lost. You have to feel safe no matter what in order for the money to come into your bank account. That's how it works, people. Right? So here's the thing. Money only comes from one place. Where do you think money comes from? Tell me in the comments where you think money comes from. Because when I heard this, it blew my mind. I was like, duh. Money comes from one place. The only place money comes from is other people's bank accounts, wherever it is now. And it only takes a second, right? We click pay, and it goes from their account to my account. We click submit, and it goes from their account to my account. Like that. So this idea that we live in this time-space continuum, that it's going to take 10 years to build this business, nope. My mentor always says, the universe doesn't work on time, the universe works on alignment. And it's so freaking true, right? It doesn't matter how long you think it's going to take, unless you want it to take that long. So we have this idea that people, that make a profit, that do well for themselves, that they're greedy and they exploit people and whatever else the movies want to tell us. But that's not actually a truth. Because how many people in the world do you see doing good with their money? So if there's a divide, then it means it's not a truth, right? That means it's just a perception, which is good news for us because we get to choose for ourselves, right? So we need to look at the idea that when we're playing for profit, we have to be in alignment. It has to be fun. It has to be something we enjoy, and we have to want to do it in order for the money to flow to us, right? We talked on the first day all about what our beliefs are and the lens of the world. And then we talked yesterday about how currency is a current and it's always moving in the direction that we're guiding it through our thoughts and our feelings, right? But we have this other idea where money has to come from hard work. And this belief is crippling. Now, here's why one of the most important things I can tell you is, here's why it matters. Because, make sure my computer is still on, because it's not true. And here's how I know it. Because there are people that are working 14-hour days, that are in construction, that are in masonry, that are waitresses, that are in restaurant business, that are doing all kinds of things, that are working ridiculous hours of manual labor for pennies, for nothing. And then there are other people that are sitting on their computer, clicking a couple things, and they're making millions of dollars. So there's zero correlation between hard work and how much money you make, which is really good news for us, because the work that we're meant to do, it's not easy, but it's effortless, right? Here's the difference. When you see a movie that you really love, do you have to think about, how am I going to tell my friends I loved this movie? The things I really loved about it, the things that I thought were really exciting about it. I mean, I should really map out what exactly I'm going to say to them so I don't, confuse them and that they actually know. And then they'll have enough information where they can go see it themselves. No, you do it because you want to do it. You do your work because you want to do it. If you don't feel like you want to do it, you're not in alignment for it. It's pretty simple. And that's why we have to tune into our intuition, tune into our heart, listen to the things that are coming up for us. Now, that's not to say that it's always easy. There's a difference. There might be skills we have to learn. There might be things we have to stretch. There might be things that we have to walk through. But we want to do those things. It's a huge difference, right? So when we're playing for profit, we're playing in our business. We're creating a business around our strengths. We're getting support for wherever our weaknesses are. We know that there's a universe that is supporting us in every minute of every day, and we are responsible for our numbers, and we look at the numbers because we know if we don't get to play in the big game. We're just going to sit on the sidelines and watch the whole game and consume more content and watch everybody else play and get the touchdowns. That's not what we're here for, friends. I love you, but that's not what we're here for. So when we're playing for profit, there's a formula to create a system where you feel good about your money. When you celebrate your money, because money loves having a place to go, that's why there's more of it when you have direction. And when you invite it in, right? This is one of the number one reasons why people don't have a profitable business is because they avoid the numbers. But the numbers are energy too. And we get to decide how we're going to feel about it. That is why so much of this work is based around emotional intelligence, right? We have to know how to navigate the feelings of money without the guilt, without the shame, with just having intention and purpose and knowing what we're doing. And using some of the tools I give my clients, like intentional ignorance and direction and focus and imagination. And those things are super important to get to the desire that we want. So if you want to make the money that you desire without compromising your heart, you have to be willing to look at your emotions about money when it comes to looking at your numbers. Because chances are, just like we talked about on day one, you're applying all kinds of meaning to the experience that is your bank account. Or lack thereof. Right? So I want to encourage you to really start asking yourself, is the number one thing that's keeping me apart from the money that I want my beliefs about the world? Do I think it's possible to do this? Am I worried that I'm not good enough? Like, what are the things that are coming up for you? Because if you don't actually ask yourself these questions, you're never going to know. Do I know my numbers? What does it cost me to be open? What are the expenses I have in my business? Am I a leader? Am I taking this seriously? Is this a hobby or is this a business? It's okay if it's a hobby, but don't kid yourself, right? You still got to account for that, So I wanted to remind you that this is super important, and playing for profit gets to be fun, and it gets to be easy, and it gets to be exciting, and you get to make the money that you desire. I promise you, you do, in a way that feels good, and you get to do sales in a way that feels good, and you get to do your whole business in a way that aligns for you. That is the only roadmap to success. It has to be in alignment for you. And having somebody there that can help you and point it out and shine the light on it for you will collapse the amount of time of suffering. So that is one of the core pieces of what my program, The Heart of Money, is all about. Right? I want to save you from the suffering. I want to save you from all the trial and tribulation that I went through. I want to save you from the hundreds of books that I have read. I want to be in your back pocket so I can help you see that's a belief that's not serving you. And this is one that is better that we can replace it with. I want to teach you the system to have a profitable business so that you can impact more people. I want you to get into the world with your heart. I want people to love paying you because you're providing value for them. That's all the stuff that this whole program is based on. So I want to remind you that the early bird pricing is open right now until Thursday at midnight. It's $333. The VIP option is $777. If you have any questions about any of them, please send me a message. On Friday, they go to $444 for the regular and $888 for the VIP. What does the VIP mean? The VIP means you have a one-on-one call with me. I mean, that is for the next one person that signs up. The VIP, I'm confused. The VIP is a group call. And we have a special container where it's just for this course. It's outside of this community, right? Whoops, my computer's dimming. Hang on. Sorry, friends. Okay, so the VIP, I was totally distracted. The regular program is 5 weeks. And the 5 weeks are 2 weeks of training and 3 weeks of integrating. That means 2 weeks of me coming in with giving you work and teachings, and then 3 weeks that I support you in integrating those new beliefs. The VIP gives you a one-on-one call with me and support throughout the entire time. So that means we get to look at exactly whatever you want to look at on our call together. And then you get to reach out to me personally, just you and I, through Messenger throughout the whole 5 weeks of the program so we can shift your beliefs. But I said for the first 3 people, there's 1 spot left. For whoever signs up, the first 3 people to sign up will get a bonus money intensive, which is valued at $777, which is I do these half-day intensives where we look at your specific money blueprint and we dive into whatever you want to dive into around your money, whether it's creating offers, your stories, what you really want to shift, whatever it is, right? But I'm telling you, you guys, this program, the reason why it's the price that it is, it will never be this price again. The reason why it's like that is because I'm offering it in a way that I've never done it before. I've done it a little bit differently. But the reason I'm sharing this is because I'm doing it a little bit differently this time, and I really want your feedback on it. I want to create this together so that it's in the highest service for all of us, and that I can actually serve you for your specific needs in a way that I hadn't been able to before. So it will never be priced this low. I will be offering it again, but I don't know when. And I can tell you for sure, it will never be this price. That's not a tactic. That is not a pressure. That has nothing to do with like, hurry up and get in. But I do believe in transparency, and I want you to know the truth that this has the ability to change your life. Why? Because it changed mine. I know that firsthand. I know with all the clients I've worked with, whether it's been one-on-one or in this group container kind of setting, it has had ripple effects. I've had people heal their relationships in their marriage. I've had people bring in more money where they don't have their husbands work anymore outside the home. They get to work from home. I've had people create memories with their kids because they actually know the systems, right? Because they know what's going on inside. They understand that they have to change the way that they're thinking, right? And here's the thing that I want you to know. Our brains are pretty much massive computers, and there's software installed in there that just needs an upgrade. But here's what I want you to consider. There's no reason to have any kind of shame or guilt or, I'm not good enough or I failed. Because when you go to your computer and you open up iTunes, you don't expect to write a Word document, right? When you open up iTunes, you expect to play music or a podcast because that's the software that's installed for that. Your brain is no different. The software that's installed right now is giving you the exact results in your life that match whatever software is running around your money relationship. Now, sometimes that's scary, but sometimes that's really good news. And if you ask me, it's always really good news because that means we can just upgrade your mental software. And that's what the heart of money is all about. It's coming back to your heart. It's helping you prosper by coming back to your heart. It's helping you make the money you desire without compromising your heart. Because you don't have to. You don't have to do high pressure sales. You don't have to do a million sales calls. You don't have to do things that are uncomfortable. You can do things in your comfort zone to create the money that you desire by being in your heart. And so if you feel called, please send me a message and I would love to invite you into this container. I know this money work is never done. There is so much more that we can dig into. It's like a freaking onion. There's always more. So even if you've done some money stuff before, I would really invite you to consider this. Looking at the psychology and the energetics of this is a game changer. It just is. If we don't change what's going on inside, we can't possibly change what's going on outside. It's just the way that it works. So my invitation to you is you didn't see this by accident. You have been in this community with me. You may have been here all 3 days. Maybe you're just catching today. Maybe you're catching up on everything on the replays over the next few days. I promise you, you attracted this into your life for a reason. There's something in your life that's telling you, maybe I should do things differently. But you get to decide. You get to decide if you want to do something differently or you get to stay on the trajectory that you're on. I'm only here to make an invitation. All I want to do is see people live a life they love because we deserve that. We are worthy of that. The world needs more of that. And if we don't go first, nobody else is going to make us go. So that is on my heart. I would love to support you in this if this feels like a fit for you. The VIP is my most favorite, I have to be honest, because I love the personal aspect of it. And obviously I can't do that for every person, but I love the people that are action takers and know when they're in alignment that that's what they want. That's why there is another bonus for those that are ready. But I will tell you, it doesn't matter if you do the regular the regular program or the VIP. There is so much medicine here for us, myself included, right? And if you feel called, I would love to have you on the journey. The pre-work will start February 5th. We'll have a week of pre-work, and then the official launch of the program will be the week after. And if you invite anybody in, this is super important. I forgot to mention this yesterday. If you invite anybody in to do this with you, there is a commission that I will send to you as a thank you. I really believe that my people have the best people. I also know people that do things together have better results. So if you want to invite somebody in and make a little extra money, I will send you directly through PayPal. I will send you a commission, but I promise you this can work for you. It's totally possible if you decide you're going to go first. So that's what's on my heart today. We're talking all about playing for profit. We're going to get into all that stuff in the program. But I want to say thank you so much for spending these last 3 days with me. It has been an absolute honor and a pleasure to share this wisdom with you that I have had to go through so many different places to find. And I'm so grateful that you're with me. So thank you so much. If there's anything I can do to support you, please let me know. If you know anybody that this would be valuable for, please invite them into our community, the Confident Creative Collective, and let's jump into the heart of money because I promise you there's so much waiting for you. All right, my friends, I love you. I hope you have a beautiful day and I will talk to you soon.